The role of technology and the human factor in war for many who fought it. Americans, MacArthur and Truman, and Britain's stalwart Churchill, as well as de Gaulle of France, Italy's Mussolini, and Russia's Stalin. Each will become a known leader, but none will have a greater impact on the world to come than a young, embittered Austrian corporal who survived years of shelling and gas attacks in the trenches. Adolf Hitler. War clouds will soon, once again, be on the horizon.
The tank in front of you, as with just about everything, well, actually everything here, it is real. They're not reproductions. So even though it's 102 going on 103, it does run. You know, and it's an American made, but it's to the Renault design, because we didn't have tank designs in the First World War.
It's World War I?
Yeah, it's a World War I tank.
This is World War II.
Now the next exhibit here is in between the wars.
Please enter war clouds now.
Come on in, folks.
War clouds will begin in 6 months.
Right. You're funny.
June 1919. With the signing of the Treaty of Versailles, the war to end all wars is over. The treaty forced Germany to disarm their army, give up 25,000 square miles of territory, and pay millions in reparations. Many Germans are upset about their treatment by the Allied powers, and support grows for a far-right political party known as the National Socialist German Workers' Party. This Nazi party is led by a charismatic Austrian veteran of the Great War named Adolf Hitler. In 1933, Hitler is able to take power in Germany through cunning political tricks and brute force. He quickly and secretly begins military rearmament as a first step toward complete domination of Europe. In 1936, Nazi Germany forms an alliance with Italy's fascist dictator, Benito Mussolini. The Nazis also begin to put in place plans for what eventually becomes known as the final solution, the horrific annihilation of Europe's Jewish population. Half a world away, the Empire of Japan is in a full-scale war with China. After the Japanese army's brutal killings of millions in Nanking in 1937, Japan is viewed by many nations as a rogue state. War clouds are gathering across the world. Within a year of seizing power, Hitler's factories begin mass production of new machines that Germany claims are simply tractors. Among the so-called tractors is the Panzer I. In reality, the Panzer I is a light tank, crewed by a driver and a commander gunner. Hitler has learned the harsh lessons of trench warfare. He imagines that this use of technology will spearhead a new mobile fighting force. Rearmament spurs industrial production in Germany. Employment rebounds to an all-time high. Life for many Germans is good again, but not for all. Kristallnacht, the Night of Broken Glass, November 9th, 1938. The windows of Jewish-owned shops, buildings, and synagogues are smashed by the SA paramilitary and German civilians. Soon, entire Jewish families, including children, are rounded up, deported, or worse, sent to concentration camps. European nations take no measures to stop Hitler. Unchecked, Germany builds its military might on land, sea, and in the air. Many in Germany adore their Führer. During speeches, Hitler whips his audience into a frenzy. His twisted Collings will affect a whole generation of young Germans. He plays to huge crowds, parading in his open car. The Mercedes-Benz G4 is a 6-wheeled heavy personnel car, a a vehicle ominous in its size and importance. Mercedes-Benz builds more than 50 of these imposing vehicles for German high command. In 1938, the confident Nazis annex Austria. Britain's Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain flies to Munich and obtains what he feels is a guarantee of no further aggression by Germany. He returns to England proclaiming it is peace for our time. But Hitler's promises are hollow. The Nazis invade Czechoslovakia in 1939. Less than a year later, Germany launches a surprise invasion of Poland, with the Soviet army attacking from the east. Stuka dive bombers hammer the city of Warsaw, and German panzer tank units cause chaos among the Polish army. The failed strategy of appeasement is now over. England and France finally declare war on Germany. Still, America remains on the sidelines. Most U.S. citizens are against any involvement in another war in Europe. Hitler's forces march on. Germany invades the Low Countries, Luxembourg, Belgium, and the Netherlands. His next target is France. Hitler's strategy of blitzkrieg, lightning war, overwhelms French forces. A British expeditionary force joins the fight, but the Brits quickly learn that their Vickers Mark VI light tanks are no match for the German panzer mobility and firepower. After the Battle of France, 300,000 British troops are successfully evacuated through the Channel port at Dunkirk. Hitler next launches air attacks on Britain. If he can destroy the nation's air defenses, he may then launch an invasion. Thus begins the Battle of Britain. Technology changes the war with the newly developed radar network, which allows Britain's air defenses to spot German planes approaching and get Royal Air Force fighter planes into the air before they can be caught on the ground. RAF pilots and their Spitfires and Hurricanes battled the German Luftwaffe in a war of attrition. When Hitler turns his attention to bombing raids on key British cities, known as the Blitz, much of London is engulfed in flames. But Britain still refuses to surrender. U.S. President Franklin Roosevelt realizes that America cannot remain isolated any longer. He signs into law the Lend-Lease Bill, pledging America's commitment to arm and support the Allies in Europe. Roosevelt hails American industry as the arsenal of democracy. America can no longer hide behind a shield of neutrality. Roosevelt knows this. Hitler knows this. And thousands of miles across the Pacific, so do military commanders bent on a new order in Asia, the Imperial Japanese Empire. Roosevelt seizes Japanese assets and orders a crushing oil embargo. The Japanese Navy wants to seize oil resources in Asia and the South Pacific by knocking out any major resistance from Western forces, especially America's Pacific Fleet. Then, on the morning of December 7th, 1941,
We interrupt this program to bring you a special bulletin.
now, an ill-prepared America will be thrust into a second world war.
Welcome to the museum. We're on the mezzanine level. Exhibits are on the first level.
Please exit War Clouds now. The screen will be closing shortly.